Hi everyone, today is an exciting video. We are designing packaging for a coffee brand, and this video is very kindly sponsored by Pacdora. So let's get into it. First, of course, is designing the brand itself. The brand is called Get Roasted, and it's a roasty coffee brand. So the tone of voice is a bit on edge and maybe almost rude, but in a playful way, if you know what I mean. Like the feeling in the morning before you've had your cup of coffee. First, I'm writing down some ideas in Brainstorm and keywords regarding the brand. And then I kind of think of some visuals that fit that. Then I translate those ideas a bit into visuals that fit with the brand, and also work on some quick ideas for the packaging design that I have for that at the moment. So it's all really just one big brain dump. Because I knew I wanted to do something with illustration and maybe make a character that represented the brand. I feel that I could represent the vibe of the brand well in the character, because it can show a little bit of emotion, and it can also be changed a little bit according to different campaigns, for example. So then the brain dump is complete after I sketched some illustrations, and now we're heading into Illustrator to work those out a little bit more. So now we're developing the brand in Illustrator. So as you might have seen before, I always write down the brand name several times and in several ways. So that's usually lowercase and uppercase. So every version already gives a different look and feel to the brand as well. And then I start trying out different fonts on all versions to see which one represents the look and feel that I'm going for the best. So in the end, I went for this bold caps lock font called Anton. I felt it was nice and bold, really matched the vibe of the brand. So now that I have the font selected, let's start editing it a little bit. So usually I try not to manipulate the fonts too much because I choose fonts that are already very strong and look really good. But I usually do want to add a little bit of additional touch to it. So yeah, usually I took a few things to make it more unique and make more impact. So here, for example, I felt that the flow of the words would look better if I connected some of the characters together, just where it made sense. I think it gives it a bit more of a bold and strong look, which is what I needed for this brand. And it's a very subtle change, but I think it makes the right difference. So now onto the illustrations. So illustrating in Illustrator is honestly not my strongest suit. I prefer using pen and paper or my iPad, but I really needed this in a good vector format where I could edit the lines. So I had to pull through a bit. So next to drawing a character, I also felt like drawing a coffee cup. And my idea with the style for illustration was to make them look a bit more loosely drawn and not caring too much if it doesn't look perfect, because I wanted it to look a bit imperfect, as I thought it fit the idea of the brand quite well. And whenever I'm building a brand, I like to just throw my ideas for the complete branding out on one big artboard and then creating different combinations and logo variations, logo lookups, and see what works. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm creating all the brand assets on this artboard. I will soon see which ones work and which ones don't, and then make the necessary adjustments there. So these are all the final brand elements for Get Roasted. And now it's time to do the packaging with Pacdora. So let me do a little bit of an introduction here. If you haven't heard about Pacdora yet, it's a platform where you can find a bunch of dielines and packaging and mockups. And when I say a bunch, I mean a bunch, like there's thousands. And they have different categories for different projects, from labels to boxes and different sizes and formats and everything. They even have sachets. They literally have anything you might need. Whatever you can think of for your project, they will have it. And it's not just your usual packaging either. They have some cool, unique ones in there that will really elevate your designs. And it's perfect to use this for client work, for example, to present an idea to a client without actually having to produce it. And you can print it out and fold it yourself because they have the die lines. So it's absolutely perfect to use for designers. So for this project, I wanted packaging for the coffee beans. And my eye stumbled upon this one where there's like a hole in the middle through which you can see the coffee beans. And I thought this was perfect, so I decided to try it out in their online packaging builder. So now I'm going to start uploading some of my designs to build my vision for this. And it's super easy with a drag and drop. You can easily scale and move your designs around. And as you can see also on the right, it shows you in real time how your design looks in 3D format. And Pacdora doesn't only have die lines, but you can also directly build mockups of your designs on the platform. This is what I'm going to do now to see how my design will look in real life once printed. It's the perfect way to try things and see what works and what doesn't. Another perk is also that you can send mockups and videos of your mockup in motion to your client so they can better assess and provide feedback or approval way quicker. And it's also really for you to see how well it works when it's actually printed out before even printing it out. Once the mockup has loaded, you can actually turn it on all sides. You can do a 360 and also top and bottom. And that's super, super convenient for an amazing workflow. And you can also rotate it, open and close the mockup to see your design in more detail. So I put the design for the box aside for a bit because I wanted to see what other mockups there were and that I could use for the project. So I saw that they also had business cards and I wanted to use them to maybe create a stamp card for it because they usually have the same dimensions. But yeah, since I couldn't get enough of browsing a bit, I went back to see what else was there. And I thought maybe a card holder also would be nice. So card holder for business cards or for stamp cards or any of that. So I settled on this folder design in the end. I opened the file and have a look to see what it looks like. Also what it looks like when opening it, which is important to see if it would be convenient to use. I like this one a lot, so I started uploading and rearranging the brand assets to bring my idea to life. Also checking the design from all angles. And it's really nice that you can see on all sides as it prevents from printing errors. For example, this bottom part, I would have put it the wrong way around, which was not what I intended. So this is a perfect feature for me, honestly. And finalizing the idea, I wanted to see the mockup closer to see if it all looked okay. And now it's time to export, which is actually also very fun because we need to print this document, this file. And if you click share, there are a bunch of options to choose from. You can share a link, share a code, and even create a video of your mockup. Again, a great way to show your proposal to a client. And then you can also save your mockup in a different file. But what I'm looking for here is to save it as a die line so I can print it. And I'm picking the AI file because then I can edit the lines. I am picky for my die lines because I don't want them to show up at all on the design when I print it. So I went with the die line and Illustrator file so I could edit the lines themselves, the die lines. So I exported that and then opened it up in Illustrator, and here I could easily adjust the dielines to make them non-existent and added my designs. I had to quickly make sure that everything was aligned. And I did the same thing for the card container. Again, used a dieline file and opened it in Illustrator to add my designs. I did the same for the cards, but actually didn't end up printing them because I had some printer problems. It won't be the first time. And now for the best part, we print, cut, and fold the designs. I printed it on nice textured paper. I know it's not the best for amateurs folding, but it looked great. So now we start the process of cutting along the cutting lines. We omit the outer lines because that was for the bleed, not the actual cutting or die lines. And oddly enough, this process was very calming and therapeutic for me. It was so fun to cut this. So now that everything is cut, I'm going to fold them. And I had to use the die line file again to see where exactly I had to fold, because yes, I did print them without the die lines. That was a conscious decision. It just looks better that way because you will always see a little bit of the lines, which I didn't want. Anyway, it did work out regardless because I had the reference. And I had this letter opener that was perfect for folding straight edges. I was going to use a spoon, but it looks more professional this way, right? Again, this process was somehow very therapeutic. I love holding my work in my hands and actually making something physical is incredibly gratifying. And also something that is a bit more complex than just a normal square box. Like this one actually has interesting folding features and like a little window in the middle to see the product inside. Like I really, really love that. I accidentally printed on the back of the paper too, but we don't throw that away. We can still work with it. We don't waste our precious paper, so. Everything fits very perfectly, which is a huge perk of having these die lines. They are made to work. You cannot fail, so go try it. And I think it actually looks so good. I even put a little piece of hard plastic to act as the little window on the packaging. And I had to put the packaging to the test by adding some actual coffee beans that I had. And I think it looks so good. And I also accidentally just spilled all of them all over the place, but it did a lot for the photography, cinematography vibe here. So yeah, that's the end result. And I had so much fun using Pacdora to create this packaging, and I hope you would like to try it as well. And I also can't leave you hanging with a final brand reveal, so here are all the brand assets for Get Roasted. So again, I wanted to put out a huge thank you to Pacdora for sponsoring this video, and I hope you guys try out the platform. The link is in the description in case you want to have a look. And I want to say thank you so much for watching. this creation process video, and see you next time.